Good morning, JLJ Media and JLJ This Morning. I'm JLJ of all that. Welcome to the show. I have something I want to talk to you guys about because I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about this morning. The show's about kind of positivity and uplifting and that kind of thing, and talk about real situations and real life
Good
stuff,
morning.
and kind of giving my perspective on it. I had something happen to me this morning that I'm going to share with you guys. JLJ this morning is on Facebook. It's on Twitter. Like all of a sudden, JLJ Media is everywhere. It's getting hotter than Hades here in Los Angeles. It's gonna be a hot day today, so I'm gonna be here doing this, doing a few other things, and I'm busting out somewhere where there's air conditioning. That's where I'm gonna go. And it's a little late morning for me. It's mid morning for us in Los Angeles on the West Coast, but some of you guys it's already afternoon. So hope your day is going well. So I was on TikTok just now, a little earlier, and I was going through and scrolling. I'm not on TikTok as much as I'd like to be. I'm just too busy. But I had some time and I went on TikTok, check my videos, and then I was looking through, scrolling through. And this lives, I don't watch very many lives on TikTok. I've only done one live once for myself, one time. And so I went on there. So I went on there, and there was a guy who I follow. He's a producer, a TV producer. And I follow his TikToks are kind of funny, and I've been following him. And he was having a really actually great conversation to people. It was like maybe 15 of us on there. And he was just saying how, and I won't say his name, because he's shady. I'm not gonna say his name, I'm not gonna do all that. But he's a producer who's produced like 8 seasons of Amazing Race, done some and also worked on Amazing Race in Australia and Israel, he said. He produces all kinds of reality TV shows. And he was saying how people say, you're not famous, you're not famous. He's like, well, I'm not famous, but I'm working. And, and he's on TikTok, he's not famous on there either, but he's getting his following is growing. And I was hyping him up like, yeah, I know. I'm like, you could be very well known in Hollywood and not be famous. I kind of know how that feels a little bit. I'm well known in Hollywood, but I'm not a famous person. And then also I was saying, you're a working producer. That's the dream. You're working. I mean, that's kind of the dream. But he's like, yeah, he's like, we're just having a good talk about everything. I go, yeah, I'm in the business too. And he asked me, what do I do? So I gave him a couple of things. I said, well, I'm a producer, host, recording artist, and I own an online network. And he just turns on me. He says to me, oh, you're one of those. That's exactly how he said it. And I was like, excuse me? And then he was like, he actually said this. He goes, so you're one of those people who I can do everything. Yeah, I don't know who I am. First of all, you don't know me to make that assumption. And secondly, that's not my truth. I actually am successful in what I do. And then he actually says on there, James, you need to pick a lane. You need to pick one thing and just do it. Stop trying to do 10 things at once. So and so I stopped following him. I didn't argue with him. When I stopped following the live, I actually stopped following him. Because it actually, I have a thick skin, but here's the thing. This is a larger thing. That I thought would be a good topic. Nowadays, in Hollywood, being a multi-hyphenate is actually a plus. It's being more and more known that way. That's a plus. Now, being a multi-hyphenate, being somebody who does more than one thing is not for everyone. Not everyone can do it. Because part of so I can break down a little bit what his thinking is. Part of the thinking is if you do 5 different things, something must be neglected. Now, they don't take into account you could have great staffs and teams. But he knows nothing about me. He doesn't know what I'm doing, or he couldn't. So he's making assumptions. But to go into a bigger thing is there are folks who actually may have teams helping them out in different divisions. You may have it very organized. You may have a schedule, and you're successful in all those things. Sometimes it is lopsided sometimes, where because the business and the industry, the pandemic happened, a lot of things happen where maybe one does a little better than the other, and one's doing better than the other, and it changes. But your through line stays the same because something is taking over, something increases when something decreases, or something keeps you through when something isn't working out. Like it can be really to your benefit monetarily, emotionally, whatever, it can be to your benefit to have several things going. But I'll go back to his thing and go, okay, I understand where not everybody is meant to do that. And sometimes things aren't taken as seriously if you're doing 2 or 3 things at once. You may go, "Okay, I'll be a singer," but then you don't really do any songs. You're mostly in the TV. "Well, I'll be an actor," but then you don't do many like, it can be a hindrance depending on who you are. And for some people, one thing and one thing only is their best bet. They're just an actor. But like nowadays, you have actors, producers, writers who are like writing their own content and acting in it, writing stuff for themselves. Like the concept of multi-hyphenate nowadays, it's not a bad thing. It's actually, it's like in the corporate world, it's always say you should cross-train everybody, or even in retail too, where everybody knows everybody's jobs, at least a piece of everybody's jobs. You may have your one job you do, but if someone gets sick or something happens, you can step in if you had to and take over. I like that kind of, or like if you become boss, you know all the jobs in your division. Like you know how each one should run, so you actually can run it better. I love that idea. I love that idea of just like that makes you a better boss because you know how each part of the department runs or how it should run. So to me, that's a good thing. But I feel like nowadays you have to kind of know several things and go for them and see what sticks. This business is huge. The internet business is huge, worldwide, billion-dollar business, trillion-dollar business. It's there are a million guys who look like me, a million girls look like how you out there, a million people. It's not just this. It's a huge ocean. Um, that of just of stuff that you could be part of and try to make it. And if you're a person of color, if you're a person of certain orientation or gender, it's even harder for you. So I think and also on a personal level, if you're creative and you have these ideas, why not? And you want to execute them, you can. And today's technology makes it much easier to put out a book, put out a song. Why not? To put out a song or two, why not? But I do get, if I break it down another way to the way he's talking, there are some folks who do grasp at 20 or 30 different things and then not end up really not doing anything or not going anywhere. And that is a problem. That is a complete problem. You don't want to do that. You want to at least be doing, like, I have some friends who are singers and songwriters and screenwriters, and they have all these things sitting at home. They have not executed any of them. So when he says that, when like this producer said that to me, for some people that's probably true. That's probably a true statement. You don't know me, so if he ends up looking me up, he'll see I'm successful in all things I'm doing. So I guess he'll see it that I'm actually living my dream, working it. Um, for me, yes. Is everything get equal attention? No. At any given time, I don't even try. I don't even try. At any given time, I go with what my creative, because I'm a creative, so I can't structure my creativity every single day all the time. Um, Last night I came up with an idea for something. I just started writing it. Now I put it away. At some point I get back to it again. I have something else going on over here. I have a song, and I've been asked to write a song. There's all kind of things going on that I go with the flow. I don't want to restrict my creativity so hard that I'm boxed in. There's things I do have deadlines for, which I'm doing. But there are things it's like, no, I'm being me, and I turned it into a career. I could not, when he says pick one, I could not pick one. Just be a host. No, that wouldn't work for me. Just be a producer. That wouldn't work for me. Just be a writer. That wouldn't work for me. I mean, if there was a gun to my head and I had to pick something, I don't know what it would be. I'd be killed. Um, but all of them I could do the rest of my life. All of them. I can see myself doing the rest of my life. I would say, just be a director. Just be a, like, I know there's people in my life that I know are not just one thing anymore. I mean, it could be 2 things to 20 things. So I feel like his mentality is an old school, small mentality that some of these producers and people get, they think that way. And I'm like, nah. Nowadays, it's actually better to be a multi hyphenate, somebody who does many things. But he is correct in the sense that you have to make sure that you're working on them, and um, you are putting your 100% you can into them when you're working on it. Um, I mean, you look at JLJ and all those people, they have like, but they have teams and staffs, but they have things going on, and their lives are full and they're enjoying it. And I just couldn't imagine. My day is different every day. I couldn't imagine cutting out something or taking things out and not doing it. I couldn't imagine that. I'm having so much fun emotionally and spiritually creating content various ways that I can't imagine. I have some books coming out. I have a book coming out next week. I love that. I have a book that I wrote. It's coming out next week. I have a show coming out this Friday. That's the last show of the series that I came up with. I could imagine of not having had a chance to have done that. And I directed it and I narrated. Like I just can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine not doing it. I can't imagine not doing it. They're just like it just But some folks are just talent, or some folks are just producers, or some folks are just writers, and those are fine. You know that at all. And that's the point, is that some people can do more. And so, X creative Christy X, you're multi-talented too. Yes. It's like I have friends who are journalists and also do music. I have friends who are, work in retail and also, produce short films. I mean, it's, I have friends who are therapists who are actually now doing podcasts. It's like, pick one. Pick one. I don't know who I am. Like, you don't know who I am, then you make that statement. And I chose not to argue with him because his mentality is just small. So I was like, I'm not even going to waste my breath. That's why I said I'll do something constructive and come here and talk to you about that. But don't let anybody tell you, what you should do. It's like, you should do what's best for you. If you're doing too much, which I have done before, which I've had to trim the fat, so to speak, and kind of cut it down, then you do that. Setting boundaries for yourself, things like that, very important. Taking time off for yourself. There's things you have to do. I took the last 3 weeks off because I said I need time off for myself. I'm tired. I do multiple things. I was like, I'm tired. I need time off. And that's okay too. So I think, this coffee's good today. It's really good. So I just think people need to, it's just funny how someone's, like I said, it's not my first time hearing that. A lot of times I get the, oh my God, James, how do you do it? I get that. A lot of times I'll get, that's amazing. You do all of that. How do you find time? And I almost wish he could have went that direction. I was like, so you do all of that. How do you do all that? Or how's that working out for you? Or, what does that mean for you? Like, I mean, it was just instant judgment and like old school judgment. Because we used to always think, yeah, you do one thing, you do it well, the rest of your life, retire, you're done. And for some folks, that is what their lives are. And it's fine. You have to know yourself. If you can't multitask, then you should not do it. I have coupons. I've got some Ralph's coupons. Hi, Geneva. Yes, Mogul. It's just one. It's one of those. You should know yourself and know what your limits are and what your limits are. Of course. And if things are too much, you start cutting it out. And you do certain things. Yes, if I was doing just music, I'd be 10,000% just doing music. I'd be writing and producing it. It would be a lot. I mean, but I still do music. I still do as much as I can. But I don't work on music 24/7. I don't want to work on podcasts 24/7. I don't want to talk about soaps 24/7. I like that my brain, I have different things that are going on. I don't want to organize 24/7. Like this, or life coach 24/7. I mean, all these things feed me, and I can work on them when I feel like it. This afternoon, okay, I'm doing life coaching. Great, got it. Here we go. I'm producing a show this one day. Great. It's fun. I get so many experiences. I'd almost say to him, this guy who I won't say his name about that Shady, starts with a P. That's kidding. Well, actually, does start with a P. I'm kidding. But it's I would say, I'm sorry, you're just doing one thing. But then think about it for a second. So you're a producer on a reality show. I'm sure you're doing 10 different jobs as a producer. Producers do many different things to do whatever needs to be done. So it's kind of like, But there was just the instant judgment that was so interesting to me. It's like, there was no admiration in his voice, and I just like, oh, you're one of those people. You're one of those people. That's how he said it. Your administration to me, James. Oh, well, thank you, creative Christy.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexa, quiet. Alexa came on. I'm like, um, but no, I appreciate that. I do what I can, and I don't stress out. I really don't. I have some books that are coming out. I have some music coming out. I have shows coming out. It's all good. I mean, this is my life. This whole thing is my life. So I wake up. I have my scheduling book and also online, and I just I put it in here. I need a new book. My thing's falling apart. And I just go to town. And every day I look at my schedule. I go, okay, this is what we're doing today. Got it. I just don't. I don't worry about people. But again, it also goes to what people. It also goes to the other thing of what people think. People are going to say stuff to you all the time. People are going to give you their opinion, and you have to realize they're coming from their own experience. They're coming from their own view. Sometimes it's good and it's useful to you. Sometimes it's great advice or it's a great view. You go, oh, I never thought of it before. I have mentors who I've learned from all the time. But sometimes you have to look at it and go, okay, that's just them. If I still feel differently after they say something to me, I feel like what I'm doing is correct, then you stick with it. Don't let them derail you. Don't let them make you feel bad about it. Just like, okay, that's your opinion, right? I could have wrote back on there, wow, the judgment. And I could have said to him, I'll say this. I'm very successful in all things that I'm doing. I've been in business 14 years. It's working for me. And I could have said, you are right in some ways. For some people, they need to pick one thing and that's it. But for many of us, being multi-hyphen actually is a plus in this business. So I could have said all that, but I didn't. I just thought, when someone gives you judgment that hard, I was like, oh, just never mind. Like, why am I bothering? Why am I bothering to waste my time? And again, I was hyping him up. So it's just so funny. I was just more surprised, like, oh, dang it. That kind of sucks. But yeah, I stopped following. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You lost my follow. And I'm sure you don't care. But it's just this business is very interesting. There are people I work with a lot of people in this business, different facets of this business, from PR to talent to producer, directors, everything. And it's fun and interesting to see people how they look at the business themselves and how they view things. Because I'll hear stuff and I'm like, okay. Where I'm like, I don't agree with that so much, or wow, your view is that. I mean, it can be very judgmental, and very dismissive and all these things. I just love that I'm in my own lane. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. Excuse my language. And I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm living my life the way I want to. And some folks may think it's too much. Some folks may love it. Some folks may not like it at all, and that's fine. I'm doing what I want to do. I came into this business again later in life, black, fat, all the things that Hollywood doesn't want you to be a part of. So I've always had my own lane. I'm always like I'm not following anybody's path. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I don't watch it. I mean, I look at people's stuff, but I don't really take their stuff into my heart and get depressed or jealous. I just don't. I mean, I did recently have some issue with some of my counterparts who are not black and who are getting lots of attention in mainstream press. And I've been in this business for a long time doing all this stuff. I had some feelings about that a few months ago. But I didn't begrudge them because it's not their fault. Wherever the press goes, it goes. It's not my friend's fault if they get press. I mean, that's not their control. I was mad at the press. But then, of course, I got a big boost being on Jimmy Kimmel, and then so now I'm getting all this press. So I can't really talk. So I'm just like, but you can get it. You can get down. It can come to you and weigh on you a little bit, especially if you feel like you've been working super hard and it's just not happening. It can be really just daunting sometimes. Just like, really, I'm just gonna, like, this is not gonna happen. Like, what is going on? It can be frustrating and tough, and people can be really harsh to you and the fans can say weird stuff to you, and colleagues can say stuff to you thinking they're helping. And it's hilarious. I mean, it's you have to laugh at it because it's like it's everyone has their own opinions, everybody has their own things. But if you're working hard, enjoying yourself while doing it, and working, you know what your goals are, then who cares? Who cares? What everybody else thinks? Everybody can think whatever they want. They can. How many minutes are on there? I check these 19 minutes. Try to keep these short, 19 minutes. So I'll end it here. But that was my experience this morning. And what I'm leaving with you today is that be who you are, do what you want, live your life the way you want to, and don't anybody else kind of get in the way and try to derail that by their words or actions. Everybody has an opinion. That's just how, I mean, it's their right to have one. You have an opinion too, right? I have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, you know, and that's just how it is. You gotta let them have that opinion. That doesn't have to mean anything to you. I'm James Lott Jr., of course. Thank you, Creative Christy and Jeannie, and everybody who came in live watching this. If you're watching this now, it's somehow. Thank you for watching it. JLJ Media is everywhere, and my YouTube channel is JLJ Media. Everyone, please have a great day today. Like I said, in LA, it's hot, so I'm going to change out of this to a tank top and some shorts, and hopefully buy a pool somewhere in a few hours. Maybe doing some work by the pool. That's kind of my thought today. One of the great things about being an entrepreneur, I can do stuff like that.